All right. Now, talk just a little bit about, because a lot of people are not familiar with this kind of thing. What's the relationship between a warrant officer and a conventional officer?
A warrant officer is warranted his commission. He's not a commissioned officer. His job is normally one where he's a specialist or a highly trained technician. He may work in electronics, he may be a pilot, he may be a special supply officer, he may be a personnel warrant. He knows all the rules, the regulations, stuff like that. He does not have troop command. So there's your major separation. Difference being is Special Forces later made a warrant as the executive officer of an A-team because they went up so far in the enlisted ranks, going up sergeants and that, they wanted to make a slot to keep some career people, and captain, a lieutenant or a captain is normally the leader of an A-team, and the executive officer, they finally made them warrants. But that's the only place I know where they have any sort of troop command. And again, that's a highly trained specialist. He's not really running a whole lot of troops. He's...
Yeah, I guess the officers, normally officers move around to different assignments.
Warrant officers also have a specific branch.
And so they may stay there longer.
Yeah, and when I was in, well, that's not true, because warrants, they now have a W-5. You had W-1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When I was in, they only went to W-4. So you had plenty of ranks to go up. But again, I was responsible for the aircraft. I was responsible for flying it and understanding all that. And that's basically my job. Now, all officers have other assignments. For instance, when I got to Vietnam, I was put in charge of the Officers Club. And I told the old man, I said, wait a minute, you don't want me in charge of the Officers Club. I said, I'm a Mormon. I don't drink. I says, I don't know the difference between all your liquors and stuff. Well, I didn't end up with the job very long because since I don't drink, I made sure there were plenty of other pops and things. And I guess the sale of liquor went down. But he also told me, he says, you don't understand. He says, I'm putting you in charge of the liquor locker because you're the only one we trust with the key. That didn't sound real logical to me, but anyway. But they all have other jobs. At one point I was in charge of POL, petroleum oil and lubricants, and parts for the aircraft. At one point I was a safety officer. Then at another point I was made the executive officer of the aviation company. That was again the old man up at group. During the monsoons, a number of our people got weathered in, went down through the ranks, and it happened to be I was the guy with the standing seniority and so on and so forth, so I take over. But I'd been an NCO. I'd trained troops. I had a different way of dealing with things, and I guess I got all the work done and everybody was happy, and the old man says, you're still the executive officer. And I reminded him there were several officers that outranked me in our aviation outfit, and he says, doesn't matter. He says, you're the executive. So I took care of all the enlisted men. I took care of the maintenance, the parts, the fuels, some of the same stuff I was doing before, safety. I was supervising all that sort of stuff. But really, you talk about troop command yet, I'm still not commanding troops per se.